Today we're going on a journey through some of the deepest and most important questions in philosophy. We'll explore fundamental questions like reality, existence, free will, God, and morality, while delving into the ideas of philosophers such as Plato, Aristotle, Descartes, Nietzsche, Kant, Sartre, Heidegger, John Rawls, David Hume, and many others. Each of these thinkers will help us better understand how we view life, values, and the world around us. If you're ready to explore philosophy and expand your intellectual horizons, this video is for you. Let's dive in. What is reality? The question of reality stands as one of philosophy's most profound and enduring inquiries. Throughout history, thinkers have grappled with understanding what constitutes reality and how it can be known. From Plato's idealism to postmodern critiques, reality has been examined through various lenses, each offering a different understanding of its essence. Plato, one of the foundational figures of Western philosophy, explained his view of reality through the famous allegory of the cave. In his perspective, the world we perceive with our senses is akin to shadows cast on a cave wall, mere reflections of a deeper, unchanging reality he called the realm of ideas. According to Plato, true reality can only be grasped through reason and intellect, as our senses deceive us and tether us to illusions. His idealism suggests that the physical world is not the ultimate reality, but a gateway to something far greater. Centuries later, Immanuel Kant revolutionized the philosophical understanding of reality with his transcendental idealism. He argued that reality is shaped by the structures of human perception and cognition. In Kant's view, what we perceive as reality, the phenomenon, is filtered through the mind's innate categories, making it impossible to access the noumenon, or the thing in itself. This perspective challenges the notion of an objective reality, emphasizing instead the subjective frameworks through which individuals experience the world. In the modern era, postmodern philosophers like Jean Baudrillard further complicated the concept of reality. Baudrillard introduced the idea of hyperreality, claiming that the proliferation of media and technology has created a world where representations, what he called simulations, supersede and redefine reality itself. In this hyperreal world, what we take to be real is often a constructed narrative shaped by images and signs, detaching us from any foundational or objective truth. This insight raises questions about the authenticity of our experiences in an age dominated by virtual and digital realities. Each of these perspectives offers a distinct way of understanding reality. Plato's idealism suggests that our sensory experiences are deceptive, urging us to seek truth in the realm of reason and ideas. Kant, on the other hand, highlights the limits of human perception, arguing that reality is always mediated by the mind. Baudrillard, with his critique of modernity, challenges us to confront the idea that what we consider real may no longer exist as an independent entity, but as a construct of culture and technology. These philosophical frameworks not only deepen our understanding of reality, but also provoke critical questions. Are we capable of accessing an unmediated reality, or is it forever beyond our grasp? How do our perceptions and societal constructs shape our understanding of what is real? And in an age where media dominates our lives, can we even distinguish reality from its representations? The exploration of reality invites us to rethink not only the world around us, but also the ways in which we engage with it. From ancient philosophy to contemporary thought, it challenges us to look beyond the surface and question the very foundation of existence. Who are we? Questioning human existence is one of philosophy's cornerstones. The inquiry, who are we, reflects humanity's quest to understand itself and its nature. Over centuries, philosophers have offered diverse interpretations of what it means to be human, each emphasizing different aspects of existence, consciousness, and purpose. René Descartes famously declared, "Cogito, ergo sum," I think, therefore I am, establishing human consciousness as the most fundamental proof of existence. For Descartes, the act of thinking, doubting, reasoning, imagining, is irrefutable evidence of being. This perspective places the capacity for thought at the heart of human identity, suggesting that our essence lies in the ability to reflect and reason. In contrast, Friedrich Nietzsche challenged traditional notions of humanity. Nietzsche viewed man not as a final form, but as a transitional phase. He introduced the concept of the Übermensch, overman, or superman, envisioning a higher state of human evolution. For Nietzsche, humanity's purpose is to transcend its current limitations and strive toward greater self-realization and creative power. This vision critiques static understandings of human nature, urging individuals to overcome societal norms and embrace personal transformation. Meanwhile, Jean-Paul Sartre, through his philosophy of existentialism, argued that humans are unique in their freedom to create their own essence. Sartre rejected the idea of a predefined human nature or divine plan, insisting instead that existence precedes essence. According to Sartre, we are born without inherent purpose or identity. It is through our choices, actions, and experiences that we construct meaning and define who we are. This perspective emphasizes responsibility and the weight of freedom, as each individual is tasked with shaping their life and identity in a world devoid of inherent meaning. These philosophical viewpoints offer profound insights into the question of human identity. Descartes highlights the centrality of consciousness, Nietzsche calls for transcendence and transformation, and Sartre underscores the creative potential and responsibility inherent in human freedom. The question, who are we, is not merely an abstract inquiry, but a deeply personal and universal challenge. Are we defined by our thoughts, as Descartes suggests, or are we ever-evolving beings destined for greatness, as Nietzsche envisioned? Or perhaps, as Sartre posits, are we the architects of our own essence, forging meaning in a purposeless universe? This philosophical exploration invites us to reflect on our own existence and the possibilities within it, encouraging us to embrace the complexities of being human while navigating the journey of self-discovery. Does free will exist? The question of free will delves into whether humans can genuinely make independent choices or if our actions are predetermined. This enduring philosophical debate often centers on the relationship between freedom and determinism, exploring whether we control our destinies or are bound by external forces. Jean-Paul Sartre, a staunch advocate of existentialism, argued passionately for the existence of free will. According to Sartre, human beings are condemned to be free, meaning that our choices are inescapably our responsibility. Freedom, for Sartre, is the essence of human existence, and even in situations of constraint, we retain the ability to choose our attitudes and actions. This freedom, while empowering, also brings the weight of accountability, as we cannot escape the consequences of our choices. On the other hand, determinists like Baruch Spinoza assert that free will is nothing more than an illusion. Spinoza believed that everything in the universe, including human actions, is governed by the natural laws of God or nature. Our sense of autonomy, he argued, arises because we are unaware of the myriad causes influencing our decisions. For Spinoza, all events, including human choices, are part of a greater chain of causation that renders genuine freedom impossible. In modern philosophy, this debate has been further enriched by scientific advancements, particularly in neuroscience. Research suggests that some decisions are made at a subconscious level before we become aware of them, hinting at a more complex interplay between free will and determinism. While the brain enables conscious deliberation, it also relies heavily on learned patterns and automatic responses, challenging the traditional notion of entirely free decision-making. These perspectives raise critical questions. If our actions are determined by prior causes, can we hold individuals morally accountable? Or, as Sartre suggests, does acknowledging our freedom compel us to embrace our responsibility, regardless of the constraints? The inquiry into free will challenges us to reflect on the nature of human agency, urging us to consider whether freedom lies in the ability to choose or in the understanding of the forces shaping those choices. Does God exist? The question of God's existence is one of the most ancient and profound inquiries in philosophy. Across millennia, thinkers have debated whether a divine being underpins the universe, or if existence can be explained without appealing to a higher power. In ancient Greece, Aristotle described God as the unmoved mover, a prime cause that initiates all motion in the universe without being moved itself. For Aristotle, God is the ultimate source of existence and change, a necessary being that provides order and purpose to the cosmos. In the medieval era, Thomas Aquinas constructed 5 classical arguments for God's existence, collectively known as the Quinque Viae, 5 ways. These include the arguments from motion, causation, and contingency, each positing that the universe's complexity and order require a divine creator. One of the most abstract arguments is the ontological argument, developed by Anselm of Canterbury, which asserts that the very concept of God as a perfect being necessitates God's existence. This argument holds that if we can conceive of a perfect God, such a being must exist because existence is a necessary attribute of perfection. In contrast, Friedrich Nietzsche famously declared, "God is dead," not as a literal statement, but as a critique of modernity. Nietzsche argued that the traditional belief in God had lost its authority in the modern world, leaving humanity to create its own values and purpose. His proclamation challenges humanity to take responsibility for shaping its destiny without relying on divine guidance. Philosophical debate over God's existence continues into modern times, intersecting with science, ethics, and metaphysics. Proponents of theism often point to the fine-tuning of the universe and the complexity of life as evidence for a higher power. Meanwhile, atheists and agnostics argue that natural processes and scientific explanations suffice to account for existence without invoking a deity. This question ultimately invites individuals to reflect on their own beliefs and experiences. Is God a necessary foundation for existence, as Aristotle and Aquinas suggest? Or, as Nietzsche provocatively challenges, is belief in God a construct we must transcend to fully embrace our humanity? The inquiry remains open-ended, fueling both personal and collective exploration of life's ultimate meaning. Is morality universal? Morality and ethics have long been at the heart of philosophical inquiry, sparking debates over whether moral principles are universal or culturally constructed. Ancient thinkers such as Plato and Aristotle advocated for a universal foundation of morality. Plato viewed morality as an eternal form rooted in the realm of ideal truths, while Aristotle connected it to achieving a virtuous and fulfilling life. For them, moral principles were objective and transcendent, guiding humanity toward the good life. In the Enlightenment era, Immanuel Kant sought to establish morality on a universal foundation through his concept of the categorical imperative. Kant argued that moral laws should apply to all rational beings, regardless of context or culture. According to his philosophy, individuals must act according to principles they would want universalized, a profound attempt to anchor ethics in reason rather than emotion or tradition. In contrast, David Hume and Friedrich Nietzsche challenged the notion of universal morality, arguing that ethics are shaped by cultural and social contexts. Hume believed morality arose from human emotions and interpersonal interactions rather than objective laws. He emphasized the role of empathy and shared sentiments in shaping moral behavior. Nietzsche, however, went further, critiquing traditional morality as a product of societal constructs aimed at controlling individuals. For Nietzsche, morality is not universal, but a tool used by the powerful or the collective to enforce conformity. He advocated for a reevaluation of values, encouraging individuals to create their own moral frameworks based on personal strength and creativity. Modern debates continue to grapple with these perspectives. Advocates for universal morality highlight commonalities across cultures, such as prohibitions against harm and the promotion of fairness, as evidence of shared ethical foundations. On the other hand, relativists argue that moral values are deeply influenced by historical, cultural, and social factors, making universal principles difficult to justify. The question of whether morality is universal forces us to confront fundamental issues about human nature, culture, and reason. Is there a common moral thread that binds humanity together? Or are our ethical systems reflections of the diverse contexts in which we live? This ongoing exploration challenges us to consider whether morality is a timeless truth or a human invention shaped by our collective experience. What is knowledge? The question of knowledge lies at the heart of epistemology, exploring what we know, how we come to know it, and what constitutes true knowledge. Plato defined knowledge as justified true belief, asserting that true understanding comes from the world of ideal forms, beyond sensory perception. His student Aristotle, however, emphasized empirical observation, arguing that knowledge, or episteme, arises through experience and systematic inquiry. René Descartes, adopting a skeptical approach, sought a foundational certainty for knowledge. His famous declaration, cogito ergo sum, I think therefore I am, highlights the act of doubt itself as proof of existence and a starting point for reliable knowledge. In contrast, David Hume argued that all knowledge stems from experience and sensory impressions. Rejecting a priori, pre-experiential knowledge, Hume maintained that human understanding is shaped entirely by perceptions and the associations we form through experience. This ongoing inquiry invites us to reflect on whether knowledge is rooted in reason, experience, or an interplay of both, challenging our assumptions about the very nature of truth and understanding. What is time? The question of time is both metaphysical and ontological, remaining a fundamental puzzle in philosophy. Aristotle described time as a measure of motion and change, intrinsically tied to the evolution and movement of beings. For him, time does not exist independently, but is observed through the transitions in the physical world. Immanuel Kant, however, argued that time is not an external reality, but a construct of the human mind. According to Kant, time is a framework through which we perceive and organize our experiences. It exists only as a condition of human cognition, not as a property of the external world. In modern philosophy and science, time continues to challenge understanding. Albert Einstein's theory of relativity revolutionized our concept of time, revealing its fluid and relative nature. Einstein demonstrated that time can stretch, compress, and even behave differently, depending on the observer's velocity or gravitational context. This scientific view starkly contrasts with classical philosophical notions of time as an immutable flow. The nature of time remains a profound enigma, bridging philosophy and science. Is it a tangible aspect of reality, a cognitive framework, or something even more elusive? This question challenges us to reconcile our subjective experiences with the universe's mysterious mechanics. What is justice? The concept of justice is foundational to social life and ethical values. Plato defines justice as harmony within a society, where everyone performs their designated role according to their nature. For Plato, justice is not just an individual virtue, but the organizing principle of an ideal state, ensuring societal peace and order. In modern philosophy, John Rawls offers a different perspective, linking justice to equality and fairness. His difference principle asserts that social inequalities are justifiable only if they improve the conditions of the least advantaged members of society. Rawls' vision of justice emphasizes constructing fair systems where opportunities are accessible to all. Conversely, Friedrich Hayek associates justice with individual liberty and market mechanisms. Hayek argues that justice arises naturally through minimal state intervention, emphasizing the importance of personal freedom and spontaneous order in creating fair outcomes. Aristotle, on the other hand, views justice as giving each individual what they deserve, balancing equality with proportionality. For him, justice ensures that everyone receives their due based on merit and circumstance, striking a balance between fairness and societal order. Justice remains a multifaceted and evolving concept, reflecting the complexities of human values, governance, and societal structures. From ancient ideals to modern theories, it challenges us to reconcile fairness, equality, and liberty in our collective pursuit of a just world. What is death? Death is one of philosophy's most profound inquiries into human existence. Socrates argued that death is not something to fear. He suggested that death is either a dreamless sleep or an opportunity to encounter another form of existence. For Socrates, death is a natural part of life and should not be a source of terror, but of contemplation. Martin Heidegger provided a more existential analysis, emphasizing that facing death is fundamental to understanding life's meaning. Heidegger viewed death as an ever-present possibility, an event that shapes human existence by giving it authenticity. In his view, confronting mortality allows individuals to live more deliberately and authentically. From an existentialist perspective, Jean-Paul Sartre considered death to be the ultimate state of nothingness. He argued that awareness of death compels individuals to take responsibility for their lives and create meaning through their choices. Death, for Sartre, is not merely an end, but a catalyst for living with purpose and intention. Death remains a mystery and a universal certainty, challenging us to reflect on life's significance and our relationship with the finite nature of existence. What is happiness? The question of happiness is both a personal and a societal ethical issue. Aristotle links happiness to living a virtuous life. He argues that a happy person is one who transforms virtuous behavior and moral actions into the highest purpose of their life. For Aristotle, happiness is not just an emotional state, but the result of living a life in accordance with reason and virtue. Epicurus offers a different view, associating happiness with pleasure and laying the foundations of hedonism. According to him, the greatest happiness is found in avoiding pain and leading a peaceful life. Epicurus emphasizes that the key to happiness is living a simple and moderate life, free from unnecessary desires. In modern philosophy, John Stuart Mill and Jeremy Bentham, two leading figures of utilitarianism, explain happiness through the greatest happiness principle. For Mill, happiness is not just about individual pleasure, but also the collective well-being. The goal is to achieve the greatest happiness for the greatest number of people, balancing individual needs with societal good. Ultimately, happiness remains a multifaceted concept, blending personal fulfillment with social responsibility, and often challenging individuals to consider the broader impact of their actions. Today, we took a deep dive into some of the core questions of philosophy, reflecting on the views of famous philosophers from Plato to Nietzsche, Descartes to Sartre. We explored topics like life, reality, morality, free will, and happiness. These thinkers have guided us in developing a deeper understanding of both individual and societal perspectives. If you enjoyed this philosophical journey, don't forget to subscribe for more. See you in the next video.